though I think the bear markets are an important part of our corporate strategy, that's a time to reload and to retool and to actually pick up assets when they're cheap. They invariably are cheaper.
StockPulse on location, Vancouver Resource Investment Conference 2020. Got me now Eagle Plains Resources, EPL on the venture. Tim Termuende, CEO. Tim, thanks for the time.
Hey, Rob, thank you. It's good to talk to you again. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So pretty good year starting out here. Gold's at a good spot. This room's pretty busy. Let's jump back to 2019 and let's recap. What was Eagle Plains doing and what kind of value did you create for shareholders?
Okay, well, let me say that right now it feels like we're coming out of this bear market. I think we probably said that again last year in January, and then it slipped back in there. But it really feels like it's got a little bit more momentum right now. We're starting to see some deal flow with Eagle Plains, which we haven't seen for a long time, which is refreshing. Having said that again, though I think the bear markets are an important part of our corporate strategy, that's a time to reload and to retool and to actually pick up assets when they're cheap. They invariably are cheaper and more available during downturns. So if we've survived this downturn and we're starting to see a true bull market, we're gonna see more deals starting to take hold, and we're seeing that now. We've done a couple of option deals recently with Eagle Plains. Got a couple more on the cooker right now that we hope will come to fruition. And it's just starting to get a little bit easier.
Let's get into some specifics here on some of these deals. Which ones are you most proud of, and what do you like here?
We've managed to option our Olsen property in Saskatchewan. That's a gold project to Canex Resources, who is I think going to do a name change to SKRR Resources. They're planning a program on Olsen this year. We're happy to see that. Good to see that moving along. We've also managed to option our Donna property in British Columbia. It's again a gold property located near Cherryville, BC. We've optioned that to a company called Pinnacle North Resources. They plan on a program this year. They actually did a one-hole drill program very late last year in the winter, that we haven't released yet, but we're encouraged by what we're seeing there, and they're expecting to do more work on the property. We're happy to have them there. We've also got a couple of our own projects that we're looking at having partners participate. We might even do it ourselves. It's called the Vulcan Project. It's in southeastern British Columbia. It's a Sullivan target that we've actually been picking away at for, I first worked on the property in 1992, so 28 years ago I first worked on it. We first staked the first claims of the property in 2002, and over the years have been adding to the land package there. We got the final piece of the puzzle we've been watching for a decade and a half. In 2015, we were able to stake those claims. And again, that's what I was saying earlier, referencing earlier, that the bear markets are an important part of the bull markets and how we succeed on that. So long story short, we've got the whole Vulcan property put together. It's about a 20-kilometer strike length overlying the same host stratigraphy that hosts the Sullivan deposit 30 kilometers away in Kimberley. The Sullivan deposit is a mammoth ore deposit, one of the biggest in the world, ran for 100 years, had roughly 400 full-time employees for 100 years. And people have calculated that if you found another Sullivan right now, it would be worth about over $40 billion. So these are big. These are big deposits. We've got a few targets in the Kootenays that are sort of Sullivan targets. This Vulcan thing, the Vulcan project, has really come along. We did some geophysics last year, an IPMT survey on the Vulcan. There's a very, very strong conductor there, just under the road, that seems to correlate with a bunch of historic work that's been done over the last 50 years in that area, that points to this one area. So we're quite encouraged by that, quite intrigued by that. If we can find a partner in a major, we might take them on. If we want to do it ourselves, that's an option for us too. So we're looking at that.
Yeah, so you mentioned it too. Better year here. The conditions seem to be good. I know it's important here for you guys. Other people's money. You want to spend it. So the vibe seems to be here. So busy year then, obviously. And more upcoming, I would imagine.
Without question, yeah. And our financials are strong. We've got roughly $5 million in the bank. We've got all our own assets owned by ourselves. So, we've survived this deep freeze, and we're looking forward to the thaw. We're ready. We've been building for this bear market for the last 4 or 5 years, and that's the way to handle these cycles. You just got to work with them, not against them.
And not your first rodeo. You've obviously been around. So what's the key to longevity here? Probably just what you said, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you have to trim. You have to get lean and mean when the time is right for that, and you develop processes and a staff that understands that, and a loyalty in the people. And when things are good, everybody's rewarded, but they know they got to just bear down when things are tough. And it's been tough on everybody, tough on a lot of companies. And for us, though, that's when these opportunities come up when they wouldn't normally come up. So it's part of it, part of the cycle.
Yeah, and hopefully 2020 be a really good year for us all. So
I think so. I think it'll be much busier than the last few for sure. And then it comes down to drilling and to finding something. That's our ultimate goal, is to find an economic ore deposit, and everything's channeled towards that.
So we keep our eyes on here for Eagle Plains the next 90 days or so?
Word on Vulcan, whether we're going to partner it or do it ourselves. Programs to be announced on the various option deals we have. We are constantly staking, constantly acquiring new ground. Some of these things, if we get lucky enough to get something with a resource, we might announce an acquisition. Normally we don't announce the staking we do unless it's something that we feel is very significant. But you might see something come up along those lines. But business as usual, but in a more friendlier environment, I think.
I concur. Okay, that's Tim Termuende. He's CEO, Eagle Plains Resources. That's EPL on the venture. Hey, Tim, appreciate that update.
Thanks. You too, Rob.